My name is Rose Hominick. I'm the Senior Consultant with Pampered Chef Canada. And tonight I'd like to show you a little thing that I made today that I'm really excited about. My husband and I just invested in the starter kit for the stoneware. And so we got this beautiful pizza pan, plus we got a lovely bar pan and also a bread pan. And I've been itching to just start using them. So we saw this recipe on pamperedchef.ca, and it was for their brown butter maple cookie pizza. Now, the recipe called for about 1.25 pounds of ready-made sugar cookie dough. But I had a wonderful recipe that was my mom's that I make every year for Christmas, and it's really my favorite sugar cookie recipe. So I decided I would make mine from scratch, which I did do. And I halved the recipe. In other words, I cut the recipe in half. And I thought that would be enough to make my cookie pizza, and in fact it was. So I made the dough, and instead of putting the traditional 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg in it, I actually put about 3/4 teaspoon of pumpkin spice, which I thought, well, which the recipe called for, and which I thought would add a new flavor to the sugar cookie dough, and it did. It smelled absolutely wonderful cooking. So we stuck it into a 350 oven, and we had it in for exactly 19 minutes, and it turned out really, really well. I'm really, really pleased with how it turned out, and you can see it here. It's lightly browned around the edges. It's perfectly cooked. I took it out of the oven, I put it on a rack, and we waited for 10 minutes, and then I ran this decorating spatula underneath it to loosen it from the stone, which it did perfectly. So now it kind of it's very movable. So we're going to get ready now to make the brown butter maple icing to go on top of it. So let's see how we do here. What I did was I melted a half a stick, which would be about 1/4 cup of butter, on medium heat, and allowed it to kind of go a little bit brown in the bottom, not burnt, but just caramelized. And I poured it in my small batter bowl here, and it smells like brown butter. It's absolutely wonderful. Now, to that brown butter, we're going to add about 1.5 cups of icing sugar. We're going to incorporate that in. I'm going to use the whisk component on my electric mixer, my little handheld. And we're going to see how that goes. So I'm not adding it all at once. I'm going to just add it gradually. And it's as you can see, it's kind of crumbly. But we've got lots of things to add to it, so we're okay. So I'm going to add the second half. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of, now the recipe called for full fat whipping cream. I'm using actually coffee cream. The reason for that is because we don't have any whipping cream in the house, so we kind of have to use what we have. So here we go and see how it goes. That's come together really nicely. It's nice and thick, but we're going to thin it out just a little bit more. Excellent. We're going to thin it out by adding about 2 tablespoons of real maple syrup. Real Canadian maple syrup, I might add. I do believe it's from the province of Quebec. And I love cooking with and eating real maple syrup. It was not something that I don't think we ever had it in our house growing up. Mom used to make pancakes and serve them with molasses. And because we never had maple syrup, it was just considered too decadent. And I've come to terms with molasses, but really, there's nothing like maple syrup. So here we go, we're gonna add this in. It's gonna thin it out a bit. Excellent. Let's see if we can get well, I think that's about as good as that's gonna get. And what we have come up with is quite a smooth, obviously maple flavored icing. So now we're going to set this over here. We're going to draw this a little closer, and we are going to put quite a bit of this wonderful maple icing right in the center of this incredible cookie that I can't wait to cut into. I think this is going to be an amazing experience. Okay, let's see, we're gonna just put this over here for a bit. And I'm gonna take our offset spatula and we're just gonna spread this around as best we can, hoping, oops, what's that? Ah, a little bit of hardened. Oh, wow. That, we're gonna need a little bit more, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! I was hoping to be able to pipe around the edge of it, just like the recipe called for, but quite frankly, I don't think we have enough. So I'm going to make a judgment call that we're not going to do that. We are just going to ice this little baby and call it a day. So let's just get every last bit of it out and see how far it goes. So I want to kind of make this look like a pizza. So I'm not going to go right to the edge, but we're going to see how far we get. This is not one of the things that I am really good at. Spreading icing, believe it or not, is not one of my favorite things. But let's just see how far we get. Oh, yum. You can see the little dots of brown butter in there, and it really looks amazing. I'm gonna bring it as close to the edge of the cookie as I dare. Oh, yum. Now my husband, I have to say, will be a little disappointed because we don't have that lovely beaded edge. But, you know, sometimes you just have to live with what you get. And we're just really, really excited to have this cookie in our house. So here we go. We're gonna scooch that off with my finger. I am not someone who enjoys getting my fingers dirty. It's a wonder I've ever cooked anything in my, anything in my kitchen, really, considering how much I hate getting my fingers messy. But I do. And here we go. Now I'm gonna just see if I can take some of this extra and bring it right to the edge, kind of like a pizza. We're doing the best we can. So, you know, I'd be tempted the next time I make this to make maybe even a recipe and a half of this icing. I'm just not sure there's enough to cover such a huge cookie. But, having said that, we did manage. This looks absolutely incredible. You can see the browned butter, and that there's little pieces of sort of like browned butter in there, and that just looks amazing. Amazing, people. Wow. So the other thing that the recipe called for was about a tablespoon of toffee pieces. Of course, I am a woman known for overachieving, so I've just crumbled 2 Skor bars, and we're going to use them and spread most of that over this cookie. Oh wow, this looks amazing. I do say so myself. Heck, I do. The music in the background is compliments of my wonderful husband, who is a musician and who at this moment is leading a sectional via Zoom in his studio. So you may hear some caterwauling, because he may be leading a soprano sectional. One never knows with him. Okay, well, yum, that looks delish. Oh, I'm going to treat myself to a little bit of that. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me wash my fingers, because I cannot stand to have them dirty. Let's give them a good wash. A little bit of soap is not going to hurt anybody. Yum. Well, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. A browned butter maple cookie pizza. Boy, that's a mouthful. But that is going to just be delicious. I can't wait until my husband finished so that we can cut this and enjoy our first piece. Thank you for joining me. It's always a pleasure to have you in my kitchen. And have a wonderful evening. It's still a gorgeous night out there. We're looking at about, I'm really not sure what time it is. It's almost 8 o'clock in the evening and we still have full sun. That is wonderful. I love summertime. You get so much more light in the day. Anyway, I'm just gonna wait for my husband to be free of his obligations this evening, and we're gonna cut into this lovely cookie and enjoy it with a lovely cup of decaffeinated coffee, because I have a vested interest in sleeping in the next century. Meanwhile, have a wonderful evening, and we will be back in touch with you soon. God bless and have a great evening.